Hi Sagittarius, this is Tisch Aitken, and this is your monthly report for the month of October. Such a different tone this month because last month in the month of September, all of the outer planets were retrograde, giving a very held back tone to the month and very reflective tone. And then at the end of September, on the 27th, Mercury, which is a personal planet, which represents communication and information and transportation, among other things, stationed retrograde at 25 degrees of the cardinal air sign of Libra in your house of friends and groups. And whenever Mercury retrogrades, which it does 3 to 4 times a year, this is a time when people from our past resurface. We can hear from somebody we haven't heard from in a really long time. We can run into somebody. You can have a dream of somebody you haven't thought of, or a memory. It can be many different ways. And for you, there's a lot of focus on your social life this month and this fall. And Mercury will be in this sector of your chart November 6th. So reevaluating how you're socializing. I know it's been such a difficult time. Building community, maybe you're trying to rebuild or build a new community or new friends, but realistically many people will resurface in some way. And also if you have your own business, reevaluating your marketing strategies with social media, because that's the sector of the chart that's connected to the internet and social media and networking. And if you're looking for job opportunities, the same thing. Are you reaching out to different people or using all the platforms accessible? Are you fixing up your resume? And excellent time to do so, because in the month of October, 4 planets stationed direct, and that is excellent for helping us all to move ahead and launch things. So in the beginning of October, the Sun, Mars, and Mercury are transiting in your house of friends and community, and that's a big focus, socializing and networking. On October 1st, Neptune, which represents the dream and spirituality, forms a quintile to the north node of Fate, and that could bring fated and spiritual connections. There is a combative energy that day because at 9:00 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, Mars, which is the god of war, forms an opposition to Chiron, the wounded healer, and that could bring up struggles with friendships or bring up painful issues you haven't dealt with. And Mercury squares Pluto at 10:26 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, and that could definitely bring power struggles and arguments with friends. It's excellent for doing research and really getting the bottom of things, but more likely and preferably on your own. And on October 2nd, there's much more harmonious energy. Venus, which is the planet of love and beauty, forms a beautiful sextile to Pluto, the planet of transformation. Venus is transiting in your house of dreams, and Pluto is transiting in your house of money, income, and what you value. And this can be helpful for up-leveling your finances and what you value, what you want to create. On October 3rd, the Sun opposes Chiron and may trigger more issues with friendships, but bringing light to help you to heal those issues. On October 6th, there is a new moon that takes place at 7:05 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time at 13 degrees and 25 minutes of the cardinal air sign of Libra in your house of friends and community. A new moon is always a time of setting new intentions, so definitely work with this new moon to get things going of what you're trying to manifest with networking and friends and tapping into your wishes. But on that date, Pluto, which is the planet of death and transformation, stations direct at 24 degrees and 19 minutes of the cardinal earth sign of Capricorn. And we feel that 5 days before and 5 days after. Pluto is intense. It rules the sign of Scorpio. There could be major endings that week with that station, and you might get some very powerful news. But again, the new moon is setting intention, so endings and beginnings, and one begets the other, especially with Pluto stations, so intense time. On October 7th, Venus, which is the planet of love and beauty, enters your sign at 7:21 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, and it will be there until November 5th. And whenever Venus is in your sign, it's a time of you're extra glamorous and magnetic. It's great for socializing. It's in your house of new beginnings. It's great for fixing up your appearance. It's good for sales and marketing and just networking with other people and making a good impression. So that's really nice energy. And on October 8th, the Sun and Mars meet up at 12:01 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time in your house of friends. That could be combative energy. Maybe you're working on a project with others. That could be a good use of it. On October 9th, Mercury and the Sun meet up at 12:18 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, and that is good for getting organized and socializing and networking. And later that day, Mars and Mercury meet up at 6:48 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, and that's combative energy, so just being wary of that. On October 10th, another planet stations direct. Saturn, which is how we anchor our goals, is the planet of karma and accountability, stations direct at 10:17 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time at 6 degrees and 56 minutes of the fixed air sign of Aquarius. And we feel that 5 days before and 5 days after. It could feel pressured because Saturn can make you feel very pressured sometimes, and it can make you feel like you really have, pressured is the way I could say it. But it also will be helpful again because now we have another planet stationing direct of how we achieve things. And so you may feel restricted, initially, but then it's helpful. Saturn's transiting in your house of learning, thinking, local community, and sales until March 7th of 2023. So this is helpful for you if you've gone back to school, if you're taking classes, if you're marketing your business, any pursuit that you have intellectually. Saturn is now direct, building more form to what you're trying to achieve. On October 13th, Venus forms a beautiful sextile to Saturn, and that's good for you for socializing and meeting people and networking. And then on October 15th, the Sun forms a beautiful trine to Pluto at 7:46 a.m. Jupiter at 7:46 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Jupiter is the ruler of your sign, and that's very optimistic energy and good for meeting people, good for feeling really positive. On October 16th, there's very romantic energy. Venus forms a beautiful trine to Chiron, the wounded healer, at 2:49 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, and that brings a lot of healing around relationships and love. And later, Venus forms a beautiful sextile, which is an aspect of opportunity, to Mercury, the planet of communication, at 9:24 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Really good for romance and communication and for creative projects. So really nice energy. The next day is really intense. On October 17th, the Sun squares Pluto at 8:12 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. That could bring power struggles, that could conceivably bring endings and friendships. Hopefully it brings transformation. It's good for purging what's keeping you back from what you're trying to get done, but it is intense. Later that day, another planetary station, Jupiter, which is the ruler of your sign and is the grand benefic. It's the luckiest planet of the zodiac. Stations direct at 10:30 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time, and on October 18th at 1:30 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time at 22 degrees, and 20 minutes of the fixed air sign of Aquarius. Hallelujah. That is excellent, because Jupiter is how we magnetize good fortune and we tap into optimism. And for you, it's in your house of perspective and thinking. So excellent for bringing in good fortune, and for you for meeting new people and getting involved in your local community, and for feeling more just that you're moving ahead. It rules your sign. Very good. And then Mercury stations direct on October 18th at 11:17 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time at 10 degrees and 8 minutes of the cardinal air sign of Libra. And that's a sign of partnering and relationships. And it's going to be in your sector of friendships and groups until November 6th. So now we have it direct. There's more clarity. We have 4 planets direct. Oh, it's great. So really helping us to move ahead. And this is great news. October 20th, there's a full moon that takes place at 10:57 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time at 27 degrees and 26 minutes of the cardinal fire sign of Aries, in your house of romance and creativity. This speaks back to last fall when Mars retrograded in Aries on September 9th at 28 degrees of Aries, which is the second to final degree, and it's stationed direct in November at 15 degrees of Aries. This full moon is fiery. Mars rules the moon, and it could bring fruition or completion to creative projects. It could be a very romantic full moon, but it could be fiery and a bit challenging too. So being aware of that. And again, it speaks back to what you were going through last fall with the Mars retrograde. On October 21st, Mars squares Pluto at 9:20 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time, and on October 22nd at 12:20 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And that can definitely be very combative energy, but it's good for doing purging. It's good for doing a detox. Good for eliminating things that are not helping you, and good for purging toxic thoughts. And on October 23rd, the sun enters Scorpio at 12:51 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, and it'll be transiting there until November 21st in your house of dreams and imagination. And it's a very spiritual transit for you, and that's nice. And then on October 26th, Venus squares Neptune at 9:06 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And for you, that could conceivably bring misunderstandings in relationships. Could be with family, because Neptune's transiting in your house of home and family. Could be feeling a little weary or tired. But the thing is that it also could be very manifesting energy. And on October 28th, Venus and Jupiter, the two benefics of the zodiac, form a beautiful sextile at 3:15 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, and that's really good energy for you, for having fun and meeting people and socializing. On October 30th, the sun squares Saturn at 5:53 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, and that could feel restrictive and feeling held back. But then on October 31st, on Halloween, Mercury forms a beautiful trine to Jupiter at 9:18 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, and on November 1st at 12:18 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And this is really optimistic energy and good for the end of the month. You have 4 planets stationing direct, including the ruler of your sign, which is excellent news. A lot of socializing and networking, and I wish you a lot of luck, Sag. Thank you very much.